I'm in Grammichele in Sicily. With the Alliance of European Conservatives and Reformists, we're carrying out our social action project, Project Maja. We've been working in two sites. We've been doing up a centre for unaccompanied minors who have arrived as migrants from across the Mediterranean in Messina, and here we've been refurbishing a school which had closed for want of population, but which is now reopening in response to the pressure of places from migrant kids. There are no easy solutions to the migration crisis in the Mediterranean. If there were, we would have found them by now. It's no good wringing your hands and mouthing platitudes about how humane you are. You need to come up with some way of reducing the tragedies. There are really just two conclusions that are pretty clear to me from working here among both the migrants and the heroic volunteers in Italy who are giving up their time to deal with the crisis. The first is that Schengen isn't working. The border-free zone in Europe, like the euro, turned out to be a fair-weather system. It was fine in good times, but it's failed its first crisis. And the second is that this crisis will continue as long as there is an automatic link between boarding a craft in Libya and being allowed to stay in the European Union. Australia faced a similar challenge, and they solved that challenge by processing claims offshore. No longer do you expect to reach Australia by sea, and as a result, not only have the attempts fallen, but there hasn't been a single tragedy, not one death by drowning since that policy was instituted. It seems to me, and this will involve changing the European Charter on Fundamental Rights, but we have to find a way of breaking that automatic assumption that as soon as you get into international waters, you get to stay in the European Union. Perhaps we can lease or build a processing centre somewhere in North Africa where these claims can be processed. We really don't need to be told that we're dealing here with human beings. We all accept that, right? It's no good just signalling your virtue and advertising your piety by saying that as though it were a solution. I've spent the last few days here working with kids from Mali, from Ghana, from Gambia, bright, resourceful boys who are, by the way, the last people that their countries should be losing. You have to be a pretty enterprising guy to be able to make this journey. And those kids are just as much the centre of their universe as you are as you watch this video. But it's really no good as a substitute for policy, saying we should just be nice, or maybe we should take 10 or 20,000 people. That's how many have arrived in Sicily in the time that we've been here. It's no long-term solution. Until we find a way of returning vessels either to their port of origin or to a safe and secure destination outside the EU where claims can be properly dealt with, I'm afraid these drownings and these tragedies will continue.